Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, for UNODC, it's a privilege to be with you as we're working to strengthen our presence in the Pacific region. And actually, we're discussing possibility of enlarging our office in Suva, Fiji, any case here, but we're trying to deploy some other staff to respond to the requirements of the government of Fiji, but also of other Pacific islands, as this office would serve as a sort of sub-regional hub to strengthen our support to these countries. And as we met here in St. Petersburg at this important meeting, this important forum, of state parties of the UN Convention Against Corruption. Of course, these requirements of strengthening support to the Pacific Islands will be taken into consideration by UNODC. So, first of all, I would like to commend your efforts, the efforts of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption, as you continue to engage with members of parliaments around the world to step up the fight against corruption. The Yogyakarta Declaration, agreed at the recent global conference of UNCAC, shows how parliamentarians can also seek to lead and advance anti-corruption action. This declaration not only draws on the UN Convention Against Corruption and its review mechanism, but it goes, in a way, a step further by advocating for the use of legal action to pursue perpetrators of so-called grand corruption, which is one of the topics of your discussion today. UNODC, as a guardian of the UNCAC, remains committed in working with all our partners in the fight against corruption. And that is of particular importance in light of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its Goal 16, which calls in particular for reducing corruption and bribery, of course, among other targets, to promote justice and accountable institutions. And the Goal 17, which calls for enhancing partnerships for sustainable development. How the conference of the state parties and the implementation review mechanism can contribute to efforts to implement 2030 ambitious and innovative agenda is a major theme of our forum here in St. Petersburg. And I trust that decisions and resolutions of this conference will help to promote further the implementation of the UN Convention Against Corruption. The particular challenges faced by small island developing states in the fight against corruption is also the focus of a resolution under consideration by delegates. I hope that your discussion today will also provide some concrete examples of how we can work together, drawing on our comparative advantages to promote partnerships for anti-corruption action. This includes the UN Pacific Regional Anti-Corruption Project, which is jointly implemented by UNODC and our colleagues from UNDP. And in particular, we're trying to help Pacific Island nations fighting corruption by supporting, first of all, ratification of the convention. And we're proud that now we have that 11 states in this region acceded to the convention and ratified it. They became state parties to the convention. Secondly, effective implementation of UNCAC through policies, laws, which is very relevant for parliamentarians, and institutional frameworks. Of course, you have to play an essential role in the future in this process. And thirdly, engaging in the UNCAC process, such as implementation review mechanism, through supporting countries that need such a support. In this regard, I wish to commend the Pacific for being the first region to have completed all of its reviews for the first cycle. The UN Pacific Regional Anti-Corruption Project has worked with a number of organizations and technical assistance actors across the region, but a key partner has been GOPAC. Together with GOPAC, the project has successfully worked with parliamentarians to foster a shared appreciation of corruption risks and impacts, as well as to establish means for seeking joint solutions, including through the creation of GOPAC chapters and the Standing Committee on Anti-Corruption. Another example, which will be also discussed today, as I understand, is a Stolen Asset Recovery Initiative, a partnership between UNODC and the World Bank. And through this initiative, we're supporting international efforts to end safe havens for corrupt funds. These partnerships can provide a solid foundation for collective action to end corruption and promote accountability, transparency, and sustainable development. Our meeting today is a good opportunity to discuss how we can foster these efforts and for UNODC to learn how we can further support you in this fight. Thank you, and I wish you a very fruitful and productive discussion.